still from Keto Carnivoreish Chris, and I know I'm not in my kitchen today. I'm actually in my bedroom. I thought I would finally take these videos. I've been meaning to for a long time, and I know I had a lot of you ask me about doing them closer to Christmas, and now it's already the end of February, so I'm just going to do it. My bedroom happens to be the quietest, brightest room in the house, so hopefully it's not too echoey, and hopefully I don't ramble on too much. I was planning on doing 3 videos, one being my history and my weight loss history, and then the next being how I started keto, and the next being why I switched from carnivore or carnivoreish from keto. So hopefully I don't talk too much, but I guess I'll just jump right in. My weight history being the first one. So I like to joke that I was born big. Like, I came out 8 pounds, 14 ounces, was like 22, 23 inches, and just big. My siblings were all like 6 pounds, 7 pounds, and I was just big. I've always been a solid kid. I've always struggled with weight, but I didn't really start to pack it on until about puberty. A lot of my weight history has to do with how I grew up. My parents divorced when I was quite young. I was like 1. I wasn't even 2 yet. My brother was just a baby. My parents married young. They had 3 kids, all a year apart. I'm the middle child, so there's my sister who's a year older, me, and then my brother. I guess that's maybe why they got divorced. I know my sister is special needs. That probably didn't help either. But my parents were polar opposites too, so I don't ever remember a time with them being together. But a lot of my weight loss history, I feel like that would have been the start of it, just depending on which house I was in. Played a role in my weight. For the most part, grew up with my dad for the most part, from the time they were divorced till junior high, and for a lot of those years my dad was a single dad, so we had a lot of takeout, a lot of quick processed carb heavy meals, not a lot of vegetables. Just like, I can remember being really young and never feeling satisfied. I was always hungry. I'd be like, I think I was in grade 1 or grade 2 and eating like a Big Mac meal with the supersized fries and the drink and still being hungry. And like, my siblings would be eating a Happy Meal still. I've always been that way. I've never been so much of a binge eater, but my portions have always been like so large, and at dinners and meals I just eat and eat and eat. I think maybe that's why I love OMAD so much, because I get this huge massive meal and I feel like sustained and really full and happy. And I've never been a breakfast eater, and so for that I think, yeah, that didn't help. And then whenever I was at my mom's, I was always in a fasted state because there was no food. My mom was struggling a lot with mental health. She was more the child and I was the mom. We'd go so long without food, and then when I would finally get food, I'd just overeat because I didn't know when I was going to get food again. I mean, it really helped my cooking because I made some pretty fancy dishes, let me tell you, with just a rice and onion. Like, there was just no food. The closer I got to puberty, the weight slowly crept on. Grade 6, I was 5'8" already, not fully developed, and 120 pounds. And then that shift from grade 6 to grade 7, I didn't change. My height is still 5'8", but like, I filled out and my boobs came in and I got hippier and I jumped right up to 170. So that was a big jump. And then as the years went on, I started working at Burger King in high school, that really didn't help either. I like would get all these free burgers and fries and not skip the bun, and yeah, it just wasn't good. I graduated 17. I started hair school right away. I moved out, so I wasn't on my own. I was living with my cousin at the time, but I was in hair school, so I would do that all day, and then I'd go to work in the evening at Burger King still, and would just eat a ton of Burger King. And like, if it wasn't eating Burger King, I was eating really cheap food because I was a starving student, so like lots of ramen and, you know, cheese buns and breads, because it was just cheap. And that's when the weight really crept up too. I think I had to have been over 200 pounds at that point. And I've never really, prior to that, tried to lose weight. My weight has always bothered me, but I've never truly tried. So, early 20s, I was living on my own. I decided to do, I don't even think I was 21 yet. I might have been. I started Weight Watchers, and it worked great. I lost a lot of weight and got down to 170 and was feeling good. I was in a relationship. Things were going good. And then over time, I just got more lenient on tracking and less motivated, and slowly the weight came back. And then after that was going through a breakup, and just, I don't know, I gained all the way back and then some. And so after that, my next weight loss attempt was just trying to eat a balanced diet and smaller portions. So I'd eat from all the food groups, but everything was like organic, and my beef was grass-fed, and I had whole wheats and not a lot of fruit and not a lot of sugar, and it worked out really great. I'd work out a lot. I got down to 160, and I was feeling good and looking really good, and I was just happier. It was easy to maintain. I didn't have kids at the time. I kept that up for a while. I bought my condo. Life was good. A few months later, I met my now husband, Mike. And again, with dating and working and everything, I was still able to maintain it because I didn't have kids. So it was easy for me to stick to that diet and workout regime. We did it for a couple years while we dated, and then we decided to move in. And again, I was still able to maintain it. Even with my husband eating what he would eat, it worked out fine. I could still go to the gym. And then eventually I got pregnant with Lila, my oldest, who's now 11. And I don't know, that pregnancy was my first. I didn't know what to expect. What ended up happening is I got really nauseous and sick right from the get-go. I couldn't stomach the smell of like cooking or savory food. Like coffee even grossed me out. Like I was just nauseous all the time. The only thing I craved with that pregnancy was stuff I hadn't had in so many years, like sugary fruits and watermelon and cereals and toast and pancakes and syrup and all this sugary food. It was the only thing that didn't make me nauseous or want to gag. So I kind of gave in and just ate these foods that I hadn't in so long, and I struggled with that because I felt like I needed to eat. I was pregnant, but at the same time was scared of gaining all that weight back because I worked so hard and maintained it for so many years. And I did gain a lot of weight with that pregnancy, but not so bad. I was still able to work out with that pregnancy, being that I had no kids. So I was doing that, and that was going good. And then the closer I got to being due, I just got so huge. Like it was summer. She's a July baby. I was retaining water, and she was born, and I was just so huge. I mean, I lost a lot of weight right from the get-go because it was summer and I got so swollen and was retaining so much water. So right from the get-go, I lost like 20, 30 pounds and didn't think it would be that bad. But then postpartum, I never suffered with postpartum depression or anything like that, but my weight didn't go down. And if anything, I gained more weight because I wasn't sleeping properly and just not eating properly. And I found with nursing, I was always hungry and always thirsty. So I struggled. I didn't worry about it. I gave myself grace. And then the closer we got to the point where she was turning 1 and my mat leave was up, I started to think about changing or try to lose weight. I had heard a lot about the HCG diet at that time. There was a lot about it going on, so I thought I would try it, and it worked great. I've never in my life lost that much weight that quickly. I was right back down to like 170, 165, and again, looking good, feeling good, and yeah, I got pregnant again. So that was fun. Same vicious cycle, except with Adhd, my middle child, who's now 9. With her pregnancy, she was a winter baby, so there was none of that swelling and water retention. I had no sickness, so I could still continue eating normal food. I call it normal because I've never been a sweet person. I've never been one to eat cereal or pancakes, and I've never craved that. So that wasn't too bad, and I didn't gain as much weight. But again, after she was born, postpartum, that's when the weight crept back in. I wasn't sleeping, I was juggling 2 kids, and that was a lot of work. And just, I had a toddler at this point eating, goldfishies and, crackers and a lot. So I would just eat whatever was left over and really carby, or just, not the best diet. I wasn't working out anymore. I didn't work out through Addison's pregnancy because I had Lila. So the weight just came back, and I didn't worry about it until she was closer to that year mark, like at the 9 to 12 month mark, and then decided to do HCG again because that had worked so quickly and fast for me before. And so I did the HCG diet and it worked, but it didn't work the same. So I got down to like 180, not like my 160, 70, my body had changed at that point because even at 180, I had that like mummy tummy and just loose skin, and my muscles weren't as tight, and like hadn't worked out in so long. And then we got married. I know we got married after kids. I'm a product of divorce. I didn't want to get married, but we got married. The kids were, Aniston was just about 2, and I believe Lila would have been 4. And shortly after we got married, I got pregnant again. I was so upset because that was not my plan. I love Ryder to death. He's my last child, my youngest. He is 6, almost 7, and that was just not in my plan. I was distraught for so many reasons, but weight was a big part of it because the roller coaster of going up and down and up and down, it was just so hard. And having 2 kids is hard. Having 3 is really hard. So it's just not what I had planned, and it's okay. And everyone's like, yay, it's a boy. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this again. With Ryder, he was a July baby. Him and Lila are 2 days apart. So again, I gained a lot of weight with Ryder, probably the most out of all 3 pregnancies. I was older, I was tired, I was, it's just, my metabolism was even slower, I found. Got really big, fat and swollen, being that it was summer again, and I lost a little bit of weight when he was born, that water retention, but not much. And then postpartum, again, not getting sleep, juggling 3 kids, 1 who was starting school, and life was just so crazy at that point. And I think that's when my weight just got to the highest it had ever been. So I was already like probably at, I went up to 264 pounds. I know when I had started keto, I was not that much. I was about 250. But I'd never been that much. And I was so sore all the time, not to mention stressed with 3 kids. And then I guess I didn't stress so much. I'd be like, I'd tell myself it would be okay, and that the closer he got to the year mark, like that 9 to 12 months, I would start again and it would work itself out. The only thing is, when we got to that point where Ryder was 8 months, try not to like get all teary. He had a lot of health conditions. I was actually upstairs in my room one day, and Addiston was upstairs with me, and Mike and Lila and Ryder were downstairs, and I just heard Mike scream so, oh my gosh, okay. So, like a scream I've never heard before, and we ran downstairs, and Ryder was just limp. Okay, trying not to be all, okay. He was just limp and blue and not breathing, not responsive. He looked like a limp doll. We didn't know it at the time. I thought he was choking on a Barbie shoe or something, because we, you know, toys all around. We found out later it was a partial complex seizure, and I didn't even know it was a seizure. I assumed seizures were shaking and not going limp and blue and lifeless. So that was extremely stressful. The most stressful thing I've probably ever gone through. Okay. After that day, he started to have seizures every day. And then after that, it became more seizures and more seizures every day. And there's nothing the doctors were really doing either. He was on a wait list to see a neurologist. I mean, universal healthcare is great, but to get in to see a specialist, it takes months. And in the meantime, he was having seizure after seizure. And, you know, they only told us that if it lasted longer than 10 minutes to bring him to emergency. That wasn't helpful at all. And I think that stress it didn't help. I was not obviously thinking about myself at that point at all, and I might have even at one point got more than 264, but it was just like at one point he'd have so many seizures in the day. I was just holding him the whole day because I was worried he'd have a seizure. And when he wasn't having a seizure, he was just like, he was a baby, so he wasn't talking, right? But he'd be so distressed and needy and wanting to be held because it was traumatic for him, I'm sure, going through that. We weren't getting any answers. And then finally, I had enough and was fed up that the doctors weren't doing anything. Not even like seizure medication at this point, because we hadn't seen a neurologist or anything. So I took him to a chiropractor thinking it couldn't hurt. Nothing was being done. And we saw a great chiropractor, and she did her thing on Ryder. And, you know, he had one more seizure after that first visit, and then that was it. We continued to go to the chiropractor every day for 2 weeks, and then once every week for a couple weeks, and then once every 2 weeks, and so on and so on. We still take him to this day to the chiropractor. He goes once every 8 weeks. With this last year and everything that's going on in the world, we've fallen off track a little bit, but I'm not saying the chiropractor helped. That's a whole different story. I mean, cured his seizures. I'm just saying it worked for us, and I'm grateful because it was still months after he had stopped having it that we were finally able to see a neurologist. So I couldn't take that anymore. I couldn't see him in that much distress. So I'm thankful that worked out and he hasn't had a seizure since. And then things were going good again. So he was like a year and no more seizures. And then I thought I could start worrying about weight. And so I did. I tried the HCD diet again. I'm sorry, that was such a long part of the story too. I started the HCD diet and I lost 20 pounds. That was it. And then, you know, it came back. And then I thought I would do Weight Watchers again, and I lost 20 pounds, and then it came back. I wasn't able to lose more than 20 pounds, and I was getting really frustrated because I didn't know if I'd ever be able to lose weight again. I went back to like even doing some workouts and kind of the diet that worked so well for me in the past, where I just like all 4 food groups and moderate, and I wasn't losing any weight. So I just kind of threw in the towel, and then it was like that whole year of a diet yo-yoing or yo-yo dieting from Ryder being 1 to 2. And then the day before Ryder's 2nd birthday, we were out for Canada Day, and he just, it's like a switch went off. Like he'd never been this way. He was like irate and inconsolable and just frustrated and like screaming, and we didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe like there was no seizure or anything. It was just so odd. And from that day, we struggled with Ryder every day. There was like, his everything changed. I don't know how to explain it. And then again, I didn't worry so much about myself. I was worried about him. Like he had just everything. Like he didn't even want to eat any foods that we had, his favorite foods. He stopped eating them. He only wanted like nuggets and hot dogs, and would just not eat any like rice or potatoes or veggies or anything. He loved steak and chicken, and he just refused it all. And he was irate and hyper and all over the place. Moods were up and down. I didn't know what was going on. And again, we jumped through all of the medical hoops and waited to see doctor after doctor, specialist after specialist, and didn't get a lot of answers or a lot of help. It wasn't until Ryder was 3.5 and we had taken him to a private clinic because we weren't getting anywhere with universal health care, and a doctor had diagnosed Ryder with severe ADHD, and she had said that because he was so severe and not able to focus and communicate, that therapeutic treatments like therapy wouldn't work for him, and that the only thing that would help was medication. But I just didn't feel comfortable putting my 3-year-old on ADHD medication. Although there's nothing wrong with medication, I just didn't feel comfortable putting my 3-year-old on medication. At the time, I was venting a lot to my good friend Kim, fighting fat with fat, and she had mentioned keto and watching the magic pill for helping with Ryder. And I did. I watched it, and it was such an eye-opener, that movie. And so that is when I started keto. It worked great for me. It was very challenging with Ryder. That's a whole other story, but I'll leave it at that because Ryder's taking up most of this video. But I did keto. I wasn't expecting to do weight loss. I was more wanting to help Ryder. And I guess maybe that helped with my keto weight loss. I wasn't so much focused on my weight loss. I was focused on Ryder, but eating the right foods, and just lost weight. I lost weight really fast. I wasn't expecting that because that year prior with me yo-yo dieting and stuff, I think at one point even did Atkins, and it just wasn't working the same. But I don't know if I was doing it right either. So did keto, I lost like 70 pounds. I started May 2018, so it'd be May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So it was 8 months. I lost 70 pounds, and then at that 8-month mark, I just really stalled with keto. I was still feeling good, but I wasn't able to lose anymore. And that is when I started to incorporate a lot of OMADs and 1 meal a day, and started some fasting. And that seemed to really help nudge me past that stall point. And I was getting closer to my year ketoversary, year date, and had lost 100 pounds. So that was awesome. 100 pounds in a year, and I didn't work out at all. It was just keto and then eventually OMAD and fasting. It felt effortless, and I've never felt better. I then switched at my ketoversary date, switched to carnivore. And with carnivore, I didn't really have any more weight to lose. I lost 10 pounds, but that contribute that to working out too. I felt really good going from keto to carnivore, better than even keto. And so I was working out, I had more energy, and not that I didn't have more energy with keto, it was just different with carnivore. And so I did lose another 10 plus pounds, and I feel my body composition changed. And so that was good. The whole first year of carnivore, after that 10 plus pound loss, I just kind of maintained it, and things were going good. Then I won't, everybody knows what happened after that with 2020. So that year was rough. Just with me having to close my hair salon and then open, and like the gym's closing. I feel like my weight fluctuated a lot in 2020, and now I know we are in 2021, but even recently at Christmas time, I was shut down again, and there's been so much yo-yoing this 2020 and 2021, between, it started with just 5 to 10, and then it was 10 to 15, and sometimes it's even past that mark. For the most part, I still feel really great. I know I'm not the same weight I was when I was at my lowest, right after I had been on carnivore for a few months and working out and all that. But I think that weight is almost not that it's not a healthy weight for me, but it's not attainable. It's not like a natural set weight for me. I'm happy with the weight I'm at now. I would like to be even down 10 more, but I'm not going to stress about it. My biggest thing is just being able to maintain this and stay at this healthy weight. I feel good. My clothes still feel good. And yeah, so that has been my weight loss journey up to this point. I am sorry if this video is so long. It's probably long. I don't even know how long it's been. I hope that just helps give you some insight onto my background with my weight history, and yeah. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you actually watched. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and then also watch for my next video, which will be how I started keto, what I did. I know everybody's different, and then eventually how I started carnivore and why I started carnivore. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm sorry that was so long. I'm not used to talking about myself, but thanks, guys. Bye.